Islam, Islamism. Praise Allah. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all members of the Moorish Science of America, sheiks, adepts, all stations, all newcomers who are coming into the Moorish Science of America. Honors to all harbingers who paved the way for their children to be in Moorish science. Honors to the mothers and fathers who didn't or had a little bit of information for their children to break their generation curse. And I'm here to tell y'all today that on this live show on this Tuesday that there's been chaos been going on since the beginning of the democracy, the District of Columbia, the Second Continental Congress. Those are ones who disobeyed the law of the land of the Constitution of the United States of America and caused hardship amongst all indigenous so-called Cherokee and Cheyenne and etc. who are Moorish descendant. And then classify us as savages and gangsters and pimps and hoes and prostitutes and all this stuff. These are what your colonist people describe our people as lazy and non-intelligent and non-educated. I find it really odd that the same people who are casting stones at the indigenous people are the ones who invented everything on this earthland, while the European people of Europe who classify themselves as white sit around and did nothing but dictate and bring calamity and hardship to the indigenous people and and slander and defamation of character and decolonized something that has nothing to do with law, but is only onto their own divine and control, which majority of them Europeans were Masons, and yet and still they cause a whole bunch of hardship upon the brothers and sisters who were indigenous to the land and raped and pillaged and gave disease to all these people, and yet and still the same people who got emancipated are the same ones who are suffering this PTSD, which is being passed down from generation to generation. And all of the stuff of this so-called black town that had all types of industrious acts was all shattered in the face of the hands of the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing this part of America at that time and still governing at this part of America at this time. But they fail to realize and understand that they're not truly American. No matter how much they confess it, it's not true. Because if you, like I said in my last show, if you look at what's looking to the 1828 dictionary, it says that American is basically one who is of copper skin. It didn't say European or so-called white. It didn't say that. So even though they put stuff in the book, certain books that they know that the slaves or slave descendants of Negro, Black, and Color, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic is not going to read. They already understand that there are different situations how people appear to be lazy and don't want to do nothing because the colonists and the Europeans at that time were taking away all the resources from the indigenous Moors and then give us slander and defamation of character and give us these political statuses that has no relevance to our nationality. I'm just gonna be honest. And then when you do so, then they reclassify us as Negro, Blacks, and Colors. And when we try and do the best we can in a European way of thinking, educational school district, no matter how hard we try to go get a good education and do the best we can by this indoctrination and falsehood, we're getting bullied, but we're being looked upon as the problem. But the problem is the ones who are raising these European children to be hateful and narcissists. This is what people fail to understand. Integration was the worst thing that ever happened. Because you know what? No matter how hard the prophet Noble Jirali came to redeem his people from the fallen stage of humanity back to the highest planes of life with our Father God Allah, that part of our life with Prophet Jirali in 1913 was not even mentioned in the history books. You know why? Because he's not black. He never called himself black. He called us Moorish Americans. Prophet Noble Jirali did his homework and he was guided by Allah. Prophet Noble Jirali was the first brother man Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius reincarnated to give Islam the first religious creed here in America. It wasn't the 5%ers. It wasn't the Nation of Islam. It wasn't the so-called Sunnis or Shiites. No, it was the Prophet Noble Jirali. But I'm here to let my brothers and sisters know that beyond all this hardship and this PTSD and all this drugs that's being smuggled in the community with the help of certain secret services of the Ku Klux Klan who've already done this hardship upon our people so that way we can be controlled and manipulated under a certain drug of crack cocaine and substance that has been in existence longer than the Europeans have already been on the face of this earth. So what we have to understand is the reason why you have a whole bunch of Salem asylums and all these houses where people are mentally distracted and mentally can't fend for themselves, then you gotta look at your federal government. You gotta look at the one who is creating all this chaos. Everywhere he goes, he creates chaos. Everywhere he goes, he wants democracy. And you cannot put this on the Moorish Americans, and you cannot put this on the Negro, Blacks, and Colors, because where do we have where does the Negro, Black, and Colored Latino, Chicano, Hispanic have the finances to push all this stuff. It has to be some type of democracy that is being controlled by the puppet masters to create this thing where people can be separated from father to mother, and houses of children can be broken where they don't even know who their own grandmother is. And to the point where drugs are being smuggled into the community and they have no choice but to sell drugs just to live, and then they become a product of what they sell. And this is what was created by the powers that be. You can sit here and be able to understand that not everybody has the same learning capacity of how to get out of situations. Some people thinking there's only one way out. Others think differently. So we cannot hold the so-called Negro, Black, and Colored ghetto, Latino, Chicano ghettos when that was not even part of our program. It was part of the program of the powers that be. And you have to understand that. If you have a so-called Latino, Chicano, Hispanic have a stable home and their children are educated and so-called Negro, Blacks, and Coloreds, then that means you won't have havoc and chaos. That means that there won't be no room for law enforcement. You see what I'm saying? There won't be room for gangbanging. You know why? Because they have a stronghold, and they is the mother and father who have a stronghold on their family, and their children are obedient to what their expectations are to live a straight moral life. But what happened was when they created this district of democracy, they created something to where the so-called Negro, Blacks, and Coloreds in every group of people of ethnicity can be dependent on the government to take the man out of the household, because he is the one who is the provider and sustainer and protector of the family. Islam, mind, body, and soul. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can bounce. I never said government can hold me down, and you misinterpreting my words. So you know what? If you don't like it, you can leave. And you can think through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that we honor not the creeds and principles of our forefathers, and we astray after the gods of Europe who we knew nothing of. So if you don't like what I have to say, leave. Oh, Islam, Aiden, Islam, peace. Brandon, Islam. Kevin, Islam, yeah, peace and blessings. But you know what? If you understood mind, body, and soul, if you understood law, then you would understand that we did not call ourselves black. We didn't call ourselves Negro, colored, Afro-American, African-American. But if you don't understand who controls the plantation and who controls the economic system, there will be a reason why they would separate families in the 70s and the 60s, so that way the mother and father can no longer be in unison to be able to raise that stronghold family. So I don't know what you're talking about. Mind, body, and soul. You know what? You just an agent who just talking whoop whop. You don't know what you're talking about. You act like the talented tenth of what's his name, W.B. Du Bois or something. You don't know nothing about. Obviously, you don't know that it takes a man and a woman to come together to create a child, but it takes a man and a woman to bring stability to the family to raise that child right. Well, you know what? My thing is this. if certain people do not understand what certain things and certain situations are at hand when the father has to exit the house because of for whatever reason, then that means that there is something going on with the government that we're dealing with. Whether you want to know it or not, you don't know anything about the Dred Scott decision. Do you know anything about the Peace and Friendship Treaty of 1786? Do you know anything about the Spencer versus Dungy case 1855? Do you know anything about Moorish science and Moorish culture? So if you don't know any of these things and your accusations to father saying they don't hold accountability, I'm not speaking it. I am just saying, look at the economic system. Mothers and fathers have no control over the economic system and whether they get laid off from a job or not. This is what causes hardship in a family. Whether you want to see it or whether you want to know it or not. If a father can't work no more, that's not his fault. Especially if a father has to drive an hour just to go to work and then come back home. Not to mention hour plus. Then you gotta worry about looking on a license plate, the last 3-4 digits on a license plate just to get gas. That's not hardship on the father? That's not hardship on the mother? Do you know what you're talking about right now? You know what? You're playing one-sided. You're not looking at both sides of the equation. You're not looking at not looking at the cause, but you're looking at the effect. You're looking at from one perspective, one side, which makes no sense. So all this yip yap you're talking means nothing. The whole point, the whole purpose of being Moorish American is not being Negro, black, and color, but it's uplifting the state of mind to go uplift a fallen humanity, but uplifting self first and having self accountability to recognize where you're wrong at, to be able to make a speedy reparation to do better for yourself. But now obviously Negro, black, and color is not, so all the stuff you're saying really doesn't mean anything, but you're repeating the same thing I'm saying. No. Christianity is not the same as Islam. The laws may be the same, but they're people not practicing law. Where do people getting off being a male chauvinist towards the wife and beating the wife and all this other stuff, and yet still the wife has to stay because she gotta look out for the best interest of the children? Where's the logic in that? That's what Catholics teach. But you have to look at Judaism, and then you have to look at Christianity and how they're much alike and how much they're buddy-buddy. But for the sake of argument, I'm gonna have to put somebody on timeout right now, because you know what? Not paying attention. So when people start looking at different religions, it's not the fact that the people who are sheep led to slaughter. It's just the simple fact that people don't understand certain things, and the people who are teaching them are bad teachers, is what creates bad students, and which creates divide and conquer. Christianity is not even a real religion for the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, because all they're doing is just camelbacking off of other religions. So when we look at households, whether it be Chicago, California, whatever, how many households really have a father figure? How many households have a mother figure? Well, all I see is brothers and sisters over here playing, let's be promiscuous, let's play house. I'll be the boyfriend, you be the girlfriend, you be the girlfriend, I'll be the boyfriend. What's that? It's folly. And they got to go audacity to call themselves Christian or Muslim. I can't make it up. But I can say, and I can bear witness that I did dab into the worldly ways, and I understood as a grown adult that boyfriend girlfriend ain't it. So what do? I go ask mom questions. I ask pops questions. I ask grandmom's questions. And you know what? They all say the same thing. Be a friend. Get to know someone. Be a friend. So that way you know what you're getting yourself into. My mother's the best teacher. She's the master teacher of the world. You know what she says? If you want to know something about this young lady you with, go look at her mother. That'll tell you everything about her. You know why? As I say it once, I'll say it again. The fruit don't fall too far from the root. But I'm not going to sit here and come up with some hoopla demonstration. I'm demonstrating according to Moorish culture. Moorish culture is the way of life for all brothers and sisters who want to straighten up their condition and want their condition to be better. Oh yeah, Islam. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Our Lord mentioned following the religion behind family and saying is the religion of our forefathers and grandfathers. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, straight up. I mean, if people want to look at how modern society is Babylon and Europeanized, colonized way of thinking, and how to talk to each other and how to mistreat each other, they get paid for that. They get paid to be evil. But the Bible teaches us that the world is in the hands of the wicked. So how can someone sit here and tell me that the only reason why the father left, well, maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe mama didn't have a choice. It's not the point that it has to be done. It's like me. I mean, hey, I'd leave my child's mother too. Because she wasn't right. I had to take my children with me. With the help of my family. Her family wasn't helping. My family was helping, was doing everything. See what I'm saying? So, if I can hold myself accountable for making the wrong decision at the time that I did, and it's not the point, the fact that my children are mistakes, it's just that I made a mistake in choosing the wrong person to have children by. And this is why I keep saying to the young people, you gotta be a friend. Forget boyfriend and girlfriend. If you don't know anything about that mother or father, or sister and brother, or vice versa, then you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I pulled up on somebody one time, picking somebody up. This young lady did not want this young man to get in the car. I was doing a pickup. I kid you not. And she was telling me, turn it off, leave, or whatever. And then her screws wasn't wrapped. Her thoughts weren't wrapped too tight. And then mom came out and said to go in the house. She started whooping, crying, or whatever, acting like a Jezebel or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So by me understanding that, then mother said, well, she hurts the people that she loves. She hurts the people that she loves. Who hurts someone they love? Who just does that out of just without thinking? Mentally impaired, so to speak. How are these ones going to sit here and try to tell me if you love someone, you're going to hurt them? No, if you love someone, you're going to want for them as you want for yourself. You're going to treat them how you want to be treated. Your brother Man Moore's life, hey, I've been there, done that. I had a girlfriend. I had a few of them. But the things I went through in my past was my best teacher. And going through the whole shenanigans of girlfriend this, girlfriend that, relationship this, fraud relationship that. Figure out what dang, am I in a relationship? Because I put on my job application, I'm single. So I'm deceiving myself. This is what I thought in the 20s. In my early 20s. That's what I thought. But everything made sense. And now as I get older, everything I thought about that made sense. Oh, okay. So that's right. So now I can't call this sister, this grown woman, a girl. Because if I call her a girl, that's slander and defamation of character. So if I keep calling her that, she's going to be a subservient to me as if I'm her daddy. She's going to call me her boyfriend. I'm going to be subservient to her as if she's my mother. And I can't do that for myself without her approval and vice versa. See, the problem is in society, the reason why we have single parent homes in our modern society is not because because they picked the wrong mate. It's because they never took the time out to understand themselves first, to understand what is it that they're looking for in a mate, for a future spouse, for a husband. I'm not down with the whole male chauvinism and how a lot of Muslims be practicing. You do what I told you to do. You cannot walk out of the house until your face is covered. The Holy Quran on Mecca does not say that. All these ones over here in the Christian church, same situation. You do what I tell you to do. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm going to go sleep with her because she look better than you. I'm going to sneak and do it on the side. I'm going to do it on the down low. Yeah, Christians do it too. The ones I know about. Muslims, a lot of Muslims I know do it too. And they say that's their second wife. Well, did the first wife agree with that? No. I'll wait. And this is just based upon my personal experience. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but you have to understand that in life, we all go through certain trials and tribulations, certain things in life that everybody may not see the same thing. So when we see something different, now we want to say, oh, this person's lying. No, the person's not lying. Were you there to experience with me? Where do you bring up your false accusations? Where do you bring up these things that you say that are true, that are not? That's not alt. So, see, the problem is, I'm gonna explain this to the brothers and sisters out there. I love young people. I love my elders. To a certain degree, you can love someone, but sometimes you just gotta back away because they're not gonna follow what you're saying to them. To them be about theirs, and to me be about mine. For me to love my brothers and sisters, I have to keep my distance because it's all about my personal sanity. We can sit here and go back and forth about young people. And I'm not saying all young people. I'm saying young people who are out there causing a whole bunch of problems because they're misguided and they have no love in the home. And the love in the home happened to be a child discipline that can be very, very harsh. Child abuse, mental abuse. These are things that in more science that we do not allow. Therefore, I will not, if it was up to me and got a wife, My wife is not walking 6 steps behind me, yo. That's one thing I'm not doing. The Al-Nisa Quran says 434 says that the husband is supposed to protect his wife. So that means, as I said before in my last shows, my wife is walking right next to me. She's not walking behind me if one day I do get a wife. Islam, mashallah. I'm going to tell the facts what it is. See, when I read stuff, I read it, and I'm going to back it up with facts and see if that's what Allah truly said. I'm not going to sit here and put a person's life in danger, nor I'm going to beat my wife because she disagrees with my thinking. I thought in the first surah in Ayah al-Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, all praises be to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. So if Allah and man are one, then how come we're not being beneficent? How come my brothers are not being beneficent and merciful to their wife? And why are they following that shirk form of Islam where they have to walk 6 steps behind their wife? And why is it that a wife has to be disciplined and get beaten on? And that's not Islam, because Islam means peace. Call out the contradictions for what they are. Call out the truth for what it truly is. Because if you're going to accept peace, you're going to be peaceful all the way, to the best way you know how to. Now, if you want to raise your hand to your wife, then you should not be getting married, regardless if you want to be in Islam or Christian or Judaism or whatever the religion may be. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, because I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. I read Quran, and trust me, there's some things that should not be in there. There's certain words that is translated from Arabic and is not equivalent to the proper translation. You got to be mindful of what you read. Whatever you read consumes you, whether it becomes good words or evil, because words that's being put, it has spirits, and spirits are injected into your higher self and your lower self, and you're going to make a decision which master you're going to serve. Matthew 6:24, because you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one, hate the other. Never I will accept anything that teaches me to harm a woman, harm a wife, harm a child. Now, if I have to discipline my child and my child needs to get a little tap on the behind or on the diaper, so be it. Right? But it's called abuse and over excessive of disciplining. Your wife is not to be disciplined as if she was a child, so you don't have a right to beat her. If she is not in unison with you, and I thought she was entitled to her own thinking and to her own finances, so why does a wife have to stay home then if she's entitled to her own finances? Huh? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why a lot of divorce is going on in Islam, but the same equality of a wife is not the same equality as a husband. Whoa. Somebody's not paying attention. I thought you're supposed to love your wife as you love yourself. See, a lot of my people from Pakistan, a lot of my people from different parts of the world I talk to about this, they agree with me 100%. And these women who are divorced from their husbands, they agree with me on exactly everything I'm saying, because I spoke to them. I spoke to these sisters. And they refuse to get married again because of their Europeanized, colonized, caveman Muslim husband state of thinking that he's supposed to treat his wife any kind of way. And I say astaghfirullah. And I pray that these sisters have peace. So we can sit here and go toe to toe about what Quran says. It says in the Quran. You have to understand, I already took my shahada already. But I realized that me taking my Shahada, there was a gap missing. When I learned teachings of Nation of Islam, there was a gap missing. There was something missing. When I started studying under brothers and sisters on more science, everything began to make sense. So as a so-called black man in this country, where is your God-given right under the constitutional fold that you have a constitution as a Muslim? Where is your constitution as a Christian to protect you under the Bill of Rights, under the first 10 amendments and 7 articles, and the Peace and Friendship Treaty of 1786? Where is it? I'm waiting. Because last I checked, nationality is the order of the day. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a nationality. The Prophet Jesus Isa had a nationality sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Buddha and Confucius sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon them too, had nationality. So how come Muslims in this country don't have nationality who are coming out together who are straight black, supposedly, allegedly, which is slander and defamation of character according to the Spencer versus Hundred case of 1855. My client is not a Negro. Be calling him a Negro is like a slander and defamation of character. The case was won. What does that tell you? And my client is a Moor. Oh, now we're pulling some strings now. So now being a Moor, now you're entitled to the Peace and Friendship Treaty. You're protected under the Peace and Friendship Treaty of 1786. Now you're protected under the United States of America Constitution because you have a nationality. You're not no longer 3/5 of a person because you're no longer a second-class citizen. 14th Amendment citizen, 3/5 of a person, which is mind, and mind, body, and soul is the last three. But the only thing you're missing is nationality and religion. So what is that? Where now the question is, where did these sects of Al-Islam came from? Where did Sunni come from? Where did Shiite and all these other organizations come from? That's not what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam laid down. No, he didn't. He never said he was a Sunni to begin with. He was a Muslim. The pronunciation in Arabic is Muslim. Muslim. Oh, Muslim, not Muslim, because there's no U in the pronunciation of the vowels in the Arabic. It's not Sultan, it's Sultan. Muhammad, Muslim. When you look on the Shriner's Fast, it says Moslem, Muslim. Muslim is the will of Allah made manifest. Muslim is one who submits to the will of Allah. The only similarities between those two is a variation of will. Your will is Allah's will. So whatever man thinketh, so it be. Truth is the only thing that changes not. There's only two things in the world. The one is the truth and the other is falsehood. So let me ask you this question. Did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam beat Khadijah, his wife? Peace and blessings be upon her too? I don't think so. Because that's not in the teachings. That's not us. Do you understand that a lot of this male chauvinist behavior has a lot to do with the thinking of a man under a low vibration, which is under Shaitan, Diablo, Iblis, the devil, the lower self, hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, self, and everything harm, that all promote some type of narcissism and dominance and control. A wife has a right to speak her mind. A wife has a right to her own finances. She has a right to dowry. So it says in the Bible. The word dowry is in the Bible, which is was an Arabic word, is it not? Did Prophet Sultan Suleiman beat his wives? I'm asking a question. Did the Prophet Sultan Suleiman, peace and blessings be upon him, beat his 700 wives? No, he didn't. Did he love his 700 wives? Praise Allah. Yes, he did. And he gave all of them dowry. You know why? Because he was rich. He asked Allah for wisdom, but he did not ask for riches. So you know what Allah gave him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Sultan Suleiman riches. Solomon. And he did not beat his wives. Matter of fact, he was very poetic, and he made his wives feel as if they were on a high pedestal. So I don't understand where these ones is coming from, talking about beat your wife this, beat your wife that. I'm not following that in Quran because it's wrong. And number one, that's not the proper translation anyways. The best way to discipline your wife, if you do not agree with her, is you leave her in peace. That's how you discipline your wife. You don't go harm her. And a man does not have a right to go put his hands on his wife, nor does a wife has a right to go put her hands on her husband. Now you want to tell me that's Islam? That doesn't mean peace to me. Because last I checked, you're supposed to be obligated and practicing peace. But there's no peace after you decide to practice shirk and serve Diablo and want to beat your wife, Shaitan. Because that's your thinking. That's how you roll. And I pray that Allah has mercy upon you, that the wife don't defend herself and she murders her husband. And if she murders her husband out of self-defense, then Allah is pleased. Not because she felt like it, because she needs to defend herself or she needs to defend her children when her husband is out of line. It's called self-defense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. See me, I'd be darned if one of my offsprings be acting like that. Either you leave the house or she go. There ain't gonna be no fighting after Allah has told me to bless this marriage right here, that I agree with this marriage. I agree with this called this marriage of this ordained marriage that I agree upon. I don't know how to arranged marriage. There it is, arranged marriage. See, there's a time and place. See, the prophet of all prophets said, love your wife as you love yourself. If you are a strong husband who fights with a wife all night, gets no peace at night. Now, to all people who are listening, let's not give the word peace at night, being faithful to the bed and doing the husband and wife and making love and all that. No, we're talking about the peace and state of mind. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. It's strong. A woman is stronger to leave her husband in peace while he is angered. A husband is strong when he leaves his wife when she is angered. Because right now they're battling against the husband and wife are battling against themselves, the higher self and lower self. And let me break that down for you. The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds love, mercy, justice, and right. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, self, and everything that harms. See, that's the higher self, which is Allah, right? In the mind, the first self. The lower self is the devil in the mind, which is the second self, which is the falsehood. So we all of us who are Asiatics have to battle these lower and higher selves. Before we even, when we get married, when we settle down and obligate ourselves to that sister who is our backbone, our everything, and she brings peace to the household, you draw what I'm saying? You cannot help but not be angry. You will calm yourself down real quick because she's so peaceful. And it make you want to check yourself when you talk to her or raise your voice at her. Depending on where your mind is at. And that's not always the case. Going back to the young people who are discombobulated, who think it's about running the streets and it's their hood and all this other stuff, and talk about boyfriend, girlfriend this, and boyfriend, girlfriend that. That's not marriage, yo. You set yourself up for a death trap. Yes, one day you might marry, and then 80-90% of the time you're not. You're wasting your time. Why don't you go to school and go get a trade? Why don't you learn, brothers, why don't you go learn how to build something with your hands? Why don't you go learn electrical or construction? Do something constructive with your life. Learn how to use a lawnmower at Edger. Then after you cut the lawn good, you go ask people if they want to cut their lawn. You make your money. No taxes. You gotta be industrious. You gotta be a jack of all trades. Cause that sister out there who desires a man to be handy, who knows how to do a few things around the house, she's checking them out. Whether the sister knows how to cook, clean, and sew, and she knows how to do that, she's looking for a man who knows how to do some things around the house. I've said this before in my last shows. Whether y'all want to accept it or not, you gotta be handy. You gotta be industrious. You gotta figure out what your likes and dislikes are. And if you don't like working with plumbing, deal with the rust. I don't like dealing with the rust, but I gotta deal with it anyways. Electrical work. I don't like being shocked, but I gotta deal with it anyways. Because you know what? One day I'm gonna need to know how to do this stuff. I'm not gonna get on the cell phone and say, "Hey, bro, can you help me out with this?" No, grid's gonna be shut down. Grocery stores gonna be shut down. They're gonna give you a reason why to shut down grocery stores. Because of the mishandling of the food, they're gonna shut it down. Have you grown your food already? Have you grown your fruits and vegetables? Are you ready? Have you got your 90-day supply with the food? But you worry about game making, you worry about your girlfriend and who she messing with. And the dude that she used to mess with used to be your homeboy that's locked up and he's got 25 to life. You go shoot somebody and now they gonna come back and shoot you. It's called you reap what you sow. Where is it that your priorities are so much into someone else and killing some unaliving or killing someone else because of the color of their skin and because of the color of the clothes they wear? You know what you sound like? You sound like a Klansman. That's what you sound like. Because Klansmen do the same thing. Except now gangbangers are gangbanging on the plantation. And now they don't want to fight against the Ku Klux Klan because all of a sudden they're afraid, they're scared. But they rather shoot and kill their own people, but they're not going to shoot a Klansman for calling them nigger, negro, black or colored. But you're supposed to own these words, right? So that means you own the rights to Webster's dictionary, right? Now all these words, right? I think not. The most important thing is observing, writing, research, dictating, see if it fits your state of mind. If it doesn't fit your state of mind, you're wasting your time, yo. You're wasting your time. And then there's no point of you trying to follow something that all it's going to do is lead you to jail and be someone's boyfriend as a man and being someone's girlfriend in the jail and be prison or be paralyzed or end up dead. And so where's the honor in gangbanging? What's the honor in that? I keep asking you, where's the honor in it? To get a street credibility? To get a reputation? Reputations come and go, just like bubbles bust in the air as they expand. But now the question you want to ask yourself is, what are you doing? Are you being the devil's advocate to harm humanity, to make this world worse? Or are you on Allah's side to make this world better by checking yourself and checking your ego at the door and stopping doing that temper tantrum, terrible twos, little boy demonstration and being jealous? Instead of bowing down, you refuse to man up. Yeah, go eat you a mushroom and man up. Young girls, go eat you a mushroom and woman up. You need to stop with this behavior of still being a child that mama has to do everything for you. You can ask questions, you can get assistance, but you got to learn to go out there and do stuff for yourself. You got to get your own job. You got to create your own industry of work that's going to bless humanity instead of harming humanity. Now the question you want to ask yourself is, am I truly black? Now I want y'all to do me a favor, every last one of y'all who call yourself black. Homework for y'all. Why don't y'all go get something black, like a black t-shirt, a black pen, and put it up against your hands and your arms, and take a picture of it, and see if you're truly black, as some of these people who are in this religious order say. You're a black man. Black means dead, according to etymology. You ain't thinking, because now you suffer under the Christian black codes. Did you know that the whole thing with the whole Marcus Garvey movement was all ransacked by W.B. Du Bois? That he wanted to promote this African Americanism, this Afro Americanism. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was working on side with Marcus Garvey Bay. Marcus Garvey loved Prophet Noble Drew Ali as a brother. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said to Marcus Garvey Bay that you have done good work. I can't make it up. Honors to the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA. I represent the UNIA to the fullest. I do the best I can. Yes, I have my flaws. And yes, I correct myself when I'm wrong. Or when someone says I did something wrong or whatever, I correct myself, I stand corrected. Instead of me holding on to the hate and say I didn't do it, or I'm justifying these reasons why I did it and not gonna man up. That's not me. I've already grown out of jealousy since high school. Before I graduated high school, the jealousy stopped real quick. Because you know where the jealousy ends up? It's like karma. It hits you harder than a boomerang with double-edged scimitar swords. It will cut you quicker than you can throw it. Now, dare anybody who hates what I'm about come joust with me, because guess what? You ain't gonna win, yo. I'm your brother, man, Moorish Life. That's why I created this channel, because I'm Moorish and I'm life. I speak the truth. I have no reason to desecrate my brothers and sisters. All y'all out there who are doing wrong, you still have a chance to make a choice, because you're still living and breathing. But always remember, when you switch sides from evil to good, there's some consequences that come along with it. When you switch the sides from good to evil, there's some consequences that come along with it. Now the question is, are you on the side of the republic or the democracy? You see what this democracy created? havoc, control, narcissism, all of that. And then you fail to realize that your people are suffering in these streets. But you fight the war overseas. That's what you're doing. But you can care less about them lives because those lives don't matter either, right? Our brothers and sisters getting shot up in the streets by police officers and people who just like us, who are agents of the Ku Klux Klan and get paid out of pocket, under the table, with guns and ammunition and drugs and all this stuff. But guess who's capturing you? And guess who's set for checkmate? You are. So-called black people. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to make this up. Because at the end of the day, you have to be the one to make the decision. I'm just here existing to give y'all the truth. And praise Allah for that like, for that one like. Praise Allah. All praises be to Allah for that. Now, the question is, going back to those times when drugs were smuggled into the community, if your job was taken away from you and you had no choice but to sell drugs to keep a roof over your head and food to eat, you got to put yourself in their shoes and their perspective. Crack babies and all this other stuff. Babies didn't ask for that. The one who planned to shake down and break down the human family of Asiatics and Muslims, and they're the ones who are doing it, and the ones who are still doing it, they're going to reap what they sow. I don't care who says what, that everything's a choice. Sometimes in life, you don't want to leave your family. You want to be right there raising your babies, but circumstances, situations get in the way where you have to save yourself. And that's one thing that people fail to realize and understand. You want to quick to criticize other people and wondering why the child is acting out of order and there's something wrong with their mental state, but yet still you don't want to try to understand and try to uplift people, but you want to constantly keep bringing evil and degrade them, and all you're going to do is retaliate. You see what the Negro blacks, so-called Negro blacks and colors are doing right now? They're retaliating because they're tired of the condition. They're tired of being nice. One day a whole bunch of police officers are going to get shot. Crips and Bloods are going to join. And they're going to shoot everyone in sight who's a police officer, whether the police officer is good or not. It's going to happen. The revolution is going to happen. They're getting tired. And all those rednecks, yeah, y'all going to be the one to go too. Y'all are going to be the first one they go after. But one thing I suggest, there's a movie that sticks out to my heart right now. It's an old school movie back in the 90s for y'all young people. I need y'all to pay attention to this movie. It's called Tales from the Hood. Watch it. Pay attention. Put the subtitle on if you got to. Don't cheer, but pay attention. So you gangsters like killing your own people, right? Well, that's what the Europeans did to our people. That's what the Caucasian so-called white man of the slaveholder did to our people. He killed our people. And they got photographs of it too. And you're supposed to be proud of killing their own brother? What if y'all decide to put the guns down one day and decide to join forces? That means the police officers are going to be feeling for their life. That means they're really going to have to send ICE. And I'm going to be real with y'all. ICE is going after the so-called Negro, blacks, and coloreds too. I suggest y'all go find a more scientific American somewhere and go proclaim your nationality. Because if you don't, the worst is yet to come. It's already happening. The Prophet Double Jewelry already did it, already said it. But y'all better take heed to what I'm saying to y'all. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you're going to wish you had listened to your brother man Moore's life. And all in all, you didn't prepare for this disaster to happen. And there's no one said that they could have told you so, or they didn't tell you nothing, but it already happened. You see what they're doing? They're building all these houses and stuff. But one thing that y'all fail to realize that if there's no one to pay for that home, the house is going to foreclosure. Those houses, those cars that's supposed to be paid monthly are going to be on repo status. Yet still, y'all not ready for this. Young people gonna suffer because they ain't got no guidance to no mother or father. And even if they did have a father, they probably doing them wrong too. And this is not all of them. These are the ones who are subjected to all this evil and this negativity. Just being honest. You need to be honest with yourself and change. And want to do the better. Thanks, DJ Cool. That was smooth. Giving y'all something to think about. This is a resurrection of the Moorish nation. I can't call it, but there's so much to learn in more science that will give you so much clarity why things are happening. And I'm going to give you a portion of my understanding, because you are a reflection of what's going on in the cares of the world. And that also means your lower self is binded by cords by the cares of the world. And peace and blessings be upon Jesus means said, I am in the world, but I'm not of the world. I'm giving y'all something to think about. Islamism. Praise Allah. Honors to the Prophet Noble Jurali. Honors to Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey Beta, forerunner of the Prophet. Honors to Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. Peace and blessings be upon them. Peace and love. Close us out with a Moorish American prayer. Yo, DJ Cool, cut that, bro. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector and my guide and my salvation. By night and by day, through His Holy Prophet, Juali. Ameen. I'm your brother man, Moorish Life, Sheik, and Adep. I could tap into things that make y'all think. All this corruption going on It's supposed to happen. Don't be afraid, but just protect your family at all costs. If you don't learn something, pick up something new. Try to learn some hand-to-hand combat skills, something to protect your family. And for all those brothers and sisters who are going through the hardship of the marriage and y'all still love each other, I pray that everything that y'all go through, I pray that you all and your children conquer in the name of peace. But in order for peace to be taught, peace has to be in your state of mind first. So I'm gonna give y'all that to think about. Y'all can get back on my shows. I'm Brother Man, Moorish Life. Yahoo is moorish.life@yahoo.com. Islam, it's a blessing. Honor to all those good mothers out there. Honor to all those good fathers out there. For doing the best they can to raise their children the best way they know how to. May Allah guide them through these trials and tribulations, that safetyness comes their way and no other harm comes to them. Islam, peace and love. I greet y'all. Love, greet y'all, peace. Islam.